And it's that moment of enjoyment where you order an accessory and you spend your day and you build it, and I'm going to do the sound insulation on the inside of the doors, and I'm going to fit this, and I've got these beautiful focal speakers, and I've got a new head unit and amplifier in it, and it's making my four-wheel drive mine. It's 2024. That means 40 years that I've been exploring the world's most remote places in four-wheel drives, in association with the Overland Workshop. Roll drums now. Welcome to my Saturday morning working on my troop carrier, and this is from my good friends at consoles.com.au. They have sent me my door trim for my troop carrier. With previous builds from Consoles, I have ordered a door pocket with a speaker pod, but this time I've taken it a little bit further. I've ordered an entire door trim, knowing that the new model Landcruisers have got more black trim inside than grey. I have already ahead ordered the one stone armrests in black. This is what arrived, and pre-assembled means that when I put my speakers in, the amount of work I've got to do is actually reduced. That's how it will look. The process basically is dismantling the door. I have taken off the plastic. I'm putting in Carl Builder's sound deadening mat, which will absorb vibration from the steel door. Finish that, and then make sure I have sufficient space in the orifice there for the speaker. I have a feeling that there's not going to be quite enough because my speaker magnets are very, very large, and I think I might have to do a little bit of cutting of the steel. Turn them both upside down next to each other. Take all of the little plastic clips out of this one and insert them into the new one, and then basically going to undo these screws here. There are 5 of them, and then take the armrest and attach it to the underside of that. There are location pins on this one, the one there and there, and the location slightly thicker holes in the new board. The best way of doing it is to locate them and center the location pins, and then put a screw in just that one. Everything else will align. It comes pre-assembled, and what you can do is you can specify the speakers that you want or have. They will even mount the speakers if you order the speakers, they'll actually even mount the speakers for you. But I suggest you do that because they will know if the speakers will fit or not. I didn't run the camera the whole time, but I took it off another 3 times, and it just fits. I almost had to take the speakers back. There might be some interference on a rattly road because I can't see inside to see what kind of clearance. So here's my advice. I mean, I think that looks, it's so stunning, it's so classy. But my advice is get them to supply the speakers because they will know. Don't forget, when cutting metal, use a rust prevention compound. And what I also do is I take lanolin and I spray in the bottom of the door, and I coat the inside of the bottom of the door with lanolin. Because when these vehicles get past 10 or so years, you get water collecting in the bottom, you get muck collecting in the bottom, and it rusts. And there are holes, but even the holes get blocked up. And yes, the lanolin will actually block up the holes a bit, but not completely. You can see it actually dripping out here, out of the bottom of the door. The point is that the water that does collect won't rust the bottom of the door if you've coated it in lanolin. I'm just so impressed by the consistent attention to detail with all of the consoles products that I fitted to my various builds. Again, this is exceptional. You can get lights everywhere. I mean, no matter where you shop, you'll find a small LED light. This one is white and orange, but the orange, not just orange. The wavelength is the same as a campfire. Now, most of you would have been camping, and you'll notice that lots of lights around your vehicle attracting lots of insects, while the fire rarely attracts the occasional moth. This, and I've tested it, compared to other orange camping lights, attracts far fewer insects. Now with red lights, they attract almost no insects. The trouble is with red, it takes a long time for one's eyes to adapt to red, but you have no insects. Yellow, far faster, far more easy visible light to work with, and also very, very few insects. I've never had these on my vehicle before. I'm fitting one here, one inside here, hidden, so when it's on, the light glare is, if I'm standing here, the glare is obstructed by here, so I don't get glare in my face, so it'll just light this area here, and one above the kitchen and one above the shower. How do you make a dull vehicle look interesting? Instantly. Replace the wheels and tyres, right? Right. These guys deserve a shout out. City Discount Tyres in Joondalup, near to where I live. They are always there when I need some tyres fitted, when I need some help, when I need some advice on anything I'm doing. When it comes to tyres and wheels, these are the guys I come to. So I have ROH Vapor rims. These are the all black versions. All the silver bling has been removed as part of their all black package, but the tyre choice was more difficult. The ideal tyre size for Troop Carrier is a 255/85 on a 16-inch rim. I cannot find any all-terrains in that size apart from the Cooper. I don't want Cooper. Reasons are not important. So the next best thing was, well, I have to go for a tyre that's a little wider than I would like, but I'm going for what I consider the best all-terrain tyre out there, and that is the Falcon Wild Peak All-Terrain 285 75/16. Another reason is that I have these same all-terrains on my Africa build, and I've just come back from a very hard trip, very, very hard on the tyres, and the tyres did brilliantly, so I'm very happy with my choice. And I know on many of your lips will be, are you doing a rear axle correction? No. Instead, this time, for the first time, I'm correcting the narrower back axle by using different offset rims. The ROH Raptors come in a 0 offset, which is standard for front, but I have purchased a 47mm offset for the back, which means the back is moved out 47 plus 47, which almost short by just 6mm matches the 50mm difference in track width back and front. The offset solution basically works like this. The rear wheels will run out each side, 47mm, 47mm, and the front will run as standard. The spare will be standard 0 offset. Should I lose a back tyre and have to replace it with my spare, so the one spare, it's a spare, will be running inward by 47mm when compared to the opposite side. That's not a big deal. It's a temporary solution. It's a spare tyre. And this solution is by far the least expensive and easiest to do of all of the Troopy axle correction solutions. It is not perfect. It is not as good as having the axle changed or the True Tracker kit fitted, which is a perfect solution. Remember, when you have a wheel that is offset the wear on the bearings will be faster than if you do not have that offset. So when doing this, I now as an owner have to be aware that I need to check my rear wheel bearings more often than I would normally have to do. Correcting the width at the back has presented a problem. As you can see now, the tyre protrudes well beyond the bodywork, which is not legal or desirable. But putting on wider tyres creates another problem. I should say here that fitting wider tyres is not a nice to have, it's a must have. Standard narrow tyres on these troop carriers perform very poorly, so you really have to change them. But as you can see, legally I cannot have the wheel tread protruding beyond the body. So for the back, there's quite an easy solution. These are wheel flares for the rear. I purchased them this morning from ARB. The problem in the front is not nearly as severe in the back and only need to come out a few millimeters. This is one solution that I thought would work. It's from Toyota's own parts bin. And it fits perfectly. Yeah, no, it doesn't fit perfectly actually. Because this fender is not the same on the 78 as it is on the 76 and 79. And the reason why they're not the same are these studs here. On 76 and 79 there are holes, and you can literally take this and snap it into place because they all come standard with it. You don't have a problem. The problem is solved by Toyota. It's only the troop carrier that doesn't have them. But this part does not have holes to mount this. And the other problem is the foot. How is that going to look? That's going to look terrible. It's not going to work. And there's another problem. If I manage to get this, and this has got a beautiful finish on it, original Toyota part, to fit on the front, then how do I make it look the same as the back one, which is fiberglass and requires painting? So I have a painted finish on the back and this lovely soft plastic finish on the front. They're going to be different. They're going to look different. So the only solution is to wrap both of them. So being one of the first to build a troop carrier with the new front end, I'm hitting some obstacles because here's another problem. The off-road animal bull bar, I've seen the drawings, I've seen some photographs, it looks absolutely gorgeous, but it needs a wheel flare, otherwise it sticks out too far. So I have to find a wheel flare solution. I'm sure I will. And my sun visor is ready for fitting, and you know, this is one of the things that my Africa Landcruiser doesn't have, and transporting that to South Africa is going to be expensive, but I really want to do it, so somehow I've got to get one of these to South Africa. But of course I'll fit that in the next couple of weeks. Oh, I've got one more thing to show you. These things. And using something that I'm taking from my Africa Landcruiser. These are front runner load rails. And the idea is that they fit here and here, and you can attach tables to them and various other things. And I need them on both sides of the vehicle. Unlike the South African build, I have retained this vent for other uses, so I actually have to trim that, and that'll go in like that. Now the reason for these rails are, on this side I'm fitting the Max Trax table. You're familiar with that. That will sit here. But on the other side I've got the solution to my water carrying needs, and a box has just arrived that I think contains my tanks. Let me explain. Some of you say, Oh, not another Troopy build. Well, everyone is different, and in fact every build is different, and each time I do one, in each time I do a build, no matter whether it's the same vehicle and another try at it or something brand new, I try new things. And this is my solution for carrying water. Yeah, I think this is going to work, because I have at the back a 50-litre tank, and at the moment with the 2.8 there is no underbody tank available. There's bound to be one available soon. So I thought, well, I have to come up with a solution, and this is it. I have ordered two 10-litre tanks and mounting systems where they can mount on the side. Let me show you my idea. Please remember, at the moment it's an idea, and I am going through the process of seeing if this will work. With another load bar there, with a bracket there, I can mount that. So I would have to probably remake the bracket. Okay, this is just a concept, as I say. So like that, all right. And then this mounted like that. Two of them. 1, 2. I could 1, 2 fit 3 of them if I chose to, but I've only purchased 2. And the idea is that I then have my, excuse me, 10-litre water like that. The reason why I've gone 10 and not 20 is that 10 litres is far easier to handle, pour, fill than 20. Far easier. Half the effort, literally. I bought different colours because I might use one for grey water, one whatever. But a significant reason why I purchased these specific tanks is that they had a centre mounting. And they come with that. I ordered that with it. That's the boss, which will be bolted onto the bracket. Then, when loading the water cans, you load them like that, and then it comes with this, where actually screws them into place. In other words, that simple device that comes with it enables me to lock them in place however I want to put them. Do not store in vehicles or in living space. That is if you are using them with fuel. So I am going to make an assumption that these are not food grade plastic, because it's, I think, designed for fuel. I might have to read up a little bit more about it, but I think that's going to look good. In fact, I could actually even put 4 of them on here. I'm optimistic, and this is why I love building vehicles, because every time I build one I get to play with stuff like this and experiment and share it with you, so that if you think it's a good idea, you can do it, and you know how to do it. Now, thanks to the stainless bolts that I purchased, I can now mount this. Right, there you go. Right, now washers. So the idea is that goes on there, and there is a simple bracket where I can fasten them. The trouble is with this, there is no clearance between there and here. This will rub on this. So I would have to get some strips of rubber. I'd have to cut that thread off exactly. So it's a bit fiddly. This bracket would have been much neater. But if I put the bracket that way, touches on the bodywork, and if I put it on that way, it rubs on the tank. This hasn't been nearly as easy as I thought it would, but I'm going to persevere. Here then is my gull wing box that I built at home. It is based on a Mission 4x4 gull wing box, and in next week's video I will show you the cooking system in the back, the Maxtrax table, the gull wing, and also my ideas on what I'm going to do this time about a wrap. See you next time. Don't forget, like and share my videos if you enjoy them.